Lui Calibre created his YouTube channel on the 17th of January of 2009, but wouldn't upload his first video until the 24th of May of 2010. Now the first dozen videos Lui uploaded onto the channel were just simple unedited videos on games such as Halo and Red Dead Redemption. But after making these videos, Lui started to make videos with his friends, the first being Die Denogler, someone who is in the Vanos crew today. In October of 2012, Lui Calibre began to grow on YouTube due to a new series he created called The Squeaker Squad, where he would play games such as Black Ops 2 and troll people by impersonating a squeaker.
No, so look at yesterday, right? Yesterday, when I was walking to the store,
I found some candy on the floor, and then I was like, hey, did somebody drop it?
By making these videos, Lui started to slowly gain a lot of subscribers and views, as well as also getting noticed by the man himself, Vanos Gaming. When Lui started playing with Vanos, he had also started playing with the rest of the Vanos crew members, since Vanos had found the majority of the members before finding Lui. This is what started blowing up Lui's channel. By playing with the Vanos crew, Lui and the rest of the members were able to grow each other's channels by playing and making videos together. Now, there's not much to say about the next several years of Lui's channel, apart from the fact that he was growing exponentially in subscribers and views. By 2016, Lui had gained over 5 million subscribers. However, 2016 was also the same year Lui had disappeared from YouTube. On the 24th of July of 2016, Lui had streamed himself playing Pokemon Go. The stream had only lasted 27 minutes and then ended, and that was the last video Lui had uploaded onto the channel. So for 3 years straight, Lui had not uploaded a single video onto the channel. He never stated why he had stopped uploading, why he had suddenly abandoned the channel, literally nothing, only leaving his fans to speculate. That is, until the 25th of July of 2019, Lui had returned onto his channel with a live stream he had attempted to do called 3 Years Later.
what's going on, you guys? My name is Leon Caterpillar. It's been 3 years since I made an appearance on my YouTube channel. Happy anniversary. Just wanted to say happy 3-year anniversary. So check this out. I left my channel playing Pokemon Go. I think I was like level 23 or something. And I'm going to come back to my channel playing Pokemon Go, okay? So I wanna show you what I was doing while I was gone for 3 years, okay? So let's open this up real fast.
However, when Lui returned to the channel, he would only live stream on it and not actually make a proper video. With Lui's return, he had to make an explanation to his fans as to why he had left for so long, and didn't until he live streamed in March 2010, 8 months after his return, where he very briefly explained as to why he had left. On this livestream, Lui claimed that the apparent reason as to why he had left was because he believed YouTube wasn't going to be beneficial for him financially due to things like adpocalypses. Knowing this, Lui decided to get himself into investing in crypto in order to keep making himself money.
I didn't stop because like there was any like crazy reason. I just stopped because it's like, hey, there might be an adpocalypse one day. And you know what? This is before it happened, remember, because I was gone for 3 years. And it's like, you know what though? What if I work on some stuff outside like YouTube, just in case? What do I do with my gajillions of dollars? I need to keep making gajillions of dollars. And if YouTube crashes one day, how am I gonna make gajillions of dollars? So there's a thing like on Wall Street, there's companies, there's investments, and a lot of things you can do with your money. Bitcoin, blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, let me focus on this. So it's like, I just worked on that, and that was it. It's like, oh, cool, sustained, money, blah, blah. Then people,
And after this live stream, Lui disappeared again. He had blue-balled his audience into thinking he was finally returning, but nope, that was it. To be honest, it's fair to say he did say on Twitter that he was looking for a video and thumbnail editor back in May of 2020, but still, even after making this tweet, he never returned. However, that is not the only time the internet has ever heard from Lui, because in June of 2020, something had come out against him. On the 22nd of June of 2020, a girl called Cyan came out on Twitter with allegations against Lui. She explained how she got contacted by Silent Droid, a member of the Vanos crew, through Instagram, who asked her if he could play Xbox with her. And by playing with Droid, she eventually met Lui. And Lui and Cyan ended up being in a romantic relationship. Keep in mind, Cyan was 18 and Lui was 34 years old. And by being in a relationship together, Lui started becoming very toxic and apparently would verbally abuse her on Xbox. Apparently whenever she went out with friends, she had to always tell him who she was with or what she was doing, fearing he would become upset with her. Cyan had also claimed that she was a very poor college student who worked as a waitress and had to spend hundreds of dollars on plane tickets in order to meet him. Now, she wasn't saying she was angry that he didn't help her with travel costs. She was angry because Lui knew that she was just a college student and wouldn't help her with anything financially, even though he would constantly brag about being rich and famous. Another extreme allegation she said was Lui would constantly peer pressure her into sending him nudes, and had also apparently forced himself onto her when she didn't even want to have sex. She had also claimed in the twit longer that Lui apparently had a secret child that he would barely take care of, only feeding it fast food and leaving Cyan to take care of it up to 8 hours a day while he played games. And the final thing Cyan accused Lui of was apparently whenever she tried to end things with him, Lui threatened that he would end her career by getting his fans to attack her by claiming she had cheated on him. So that was her entire story. However, here's the problem. Cyan had no evidence of this ever happening. The only evidence she had was a screenshot of Lui apparently harassing her after she tried to break up with him. Not only this, but Cyan had also shared a story about a girl that had reached out to Cyan claiming that she was in a relationship with Lui when she was 15 years old. However, again, the only evidence she provided was a screenshot of a naked picture of Lui that Lui had supposedly sent her. Now, these allegations never came to light. The only exposure Cyan got with these allegations was from prison mate Luke, who went over the allegations and thought that they were true. But that was all, really. Lui had also never spoken about the allegations made against him by Cyan. Cyan's twit longer eventually became forgotten, until 2021. On the 14th of May of 2021, Cyan came back to Twitter with a Google Doc exposing Lui for being even more of a creep by sharing even more stories from other women that knew him. The reason she had come back to Twitter exposing him is because she learned from Lui's friends that Lui was apparently making a comeback to YouTube. Knowing this, she decided to make this post exposing him since she believed predators such as Lui were not allowed to be in a space such as YouTube. She went on to explain how 8 girls came to her with their own experiences of how they were manipulated by Lui. 3 girls even expressed that they apparently suffered suicidal thoughts and even had to go to therapy to process the trauma they experienced being with him. The first allegation was talking about the alleged 16-year-old girl Lui was in a relationship with. Cyan went on to explain how the girl was 16 in 2015 when she was talking to Lui, who was 32. Now, the evidence that Cyan provided was a photo of the victim's ID, showing her age and proving to everyone that she was underage when she was in a relationship with Lui. Cyan then provided a bunch of screenshots of conversations Lui had with this girl. She also provided a video of the victim scrolling through the screenshots and going to a Snapchat name being "My name is Lui." So, were these messages actually from Lui? The answer is yes. This actually happened, and I'll tell you why. So, like I showed previously, the victim showed that she was talking to a Snapchat account called "My name is Lui," and to prove this was actually Lui, I went on to advanced search on Twitter and found that this was Lui's actual Snapchat account, as he promoted the "My name is Lui" account in the years of 2014 and 15. However, the problem with this allegation is we don't know if the victim was actually 16. Even though Cyan provided a screenshot of her ID, the photo is blurred and we also don't know if it's even the victim's ID. Make your own conclusion on what you believe. The second allegation in the Google Doc was from a girl called Jane Doe, who explained how she was in a relationship with Lui and was also verbally and mentally abusive towards her, like he was towards Cyan. Jane explains how Lui would send her nudes he received from other girls and would compare them to her in order to trigger or hurt her. And if this is the case, then this would be revenge porn, which is illegal. The victim then provided screenshots of Lui being verbally abusive towards her. However, the problem with this allegation is we don't know if these messages with Lui are actually from him, since Jane did not click on Lui's account, meaning it could have been someone else. Oh well, make up your own conclusion. The third allegation on Lui was just a story from a girl called Kilobyte, who explained her shitty experience of dating with him, and how he would basically control her and what she wore, pointed out other girls that were prettier than her, and would worsen her depression more and more to the point she considered suicide. Again, the problem with this allegation is there is no evidence, it's just an allegation, and there isn't much to say. So yeah, that was the Google Doc that was made against Lui. When all these allegations came out, Lui barely responded to any of them on his Twitter. Lui confirmed in a tweet that he was in a relationship with Cyan and explained the reason they broke up was because she was caught talking and meeting with other guys. He then provided a photo of her allegedly seeing someone else, however, no one knows the context of this photo. Lui then made another tweet saying how Cyan was sharing false allegations and narratives about him, but never actually explained how. And that was the only thing Lui said about the allegations on Twitter. He never once mentioned the allegation of being in a relationship with a 16-year-old, and also never talked about Jane Doe's or Kilobyte's allegations on him. Lui had also for some reason linked videos defending him onto his community tab instead of just making his own video defending himself. In fact, in October of 2021, Lui had actually gone live on Instagram and made a comment on the allegations. And that comment was Lui implying that the allegations were fake because he said if they were real, the victims would have gone to the police, which doesn't make any sense because Minilad's victims came out on Twitter and didn't go to the police, but Minilad was still found guilty. So, where's the logic? Anyway, here's the clip.
Liam, about these allegations and me convicted. Like, convicted means that, like, that doesn't mean that you're guilty or not guilty. Convicted means that, like, you're going through a process of something. And there was no process except, let me just tell the internet. Which is totally fine, dude. Tell the internet. But instead, you should have told the cops or something. And you still can, but I mean, people just want to be stupid, you know? I don't know why someone had to go out of their way to just be like, hey, I have a story about Lui, and if anyone else has some stuff to tell, don't go to the cops, don't go to your parents or guardians. Just what's that called? Just tell me.